Welcome one and all to the fire pit. I am Lord Darkfire. I come to you because, from what I understand, you guys like my stories. Well, you liked the 2 stories I've told so far. I have one more. And actually, this one story is one that's told in my family still. And it is probably one story that my family really likes. Because it kind of gets away from all the weirdness of my friends and all that stuff. Which, trust me, I've had some very weird friends. I even admit that I've had weird friends. So, kinda gotta wonder. Anyway, every year in our town, we have a town carnival. Well, I should say in the town that we grew up, in my high school, we had a town carnival. And so, every year, up until probably my senior year, I went to this carnival. Actually, in a few years after I graduated high school, I went to this carnival. Not as regularly as when I was in school, because I didn't have quite as many friends. Anyway, sorry about that. In my high school, there weren't many kids who were handicapped. I think I was the first handicapped to go through school, quote unquote, legally disabled. They had special vans for, people that were hurt, whether it be football or whatever. But I was the first fully handicapped, 24/7, whatever. Anyway, so our high school was kept in the back, near the soccer fields and whatnot. And the only way to get to this field was either one, through the student parking lot, which had stairs and no ramp, and I couldn't use that even if we parked there. Or two, was to park in the main parking lot and go around the building. Fine and dandy. It was mostly all street, some sidewalk, whatever, but nobody ever walked on the sidewalks in my school. Probably because there was really no many cars that would go around this, right? So, lo and behold, the carnival would come around, and carnival started at like 6 o'clock, I think. And by that time, everybody was out of the school and getting ready for the carnival, whatever. Well, they didn't realize that I would be coming to this carnival. Or even if they did, they would say, what days are you coming? And they would supposedly leave the gate open. Never happened that way, but that's what they said they were going to do. So, one year, we couldn't find somebody for them to open the gate. And we sat at the gate for like 10 minutes. My friend went to see if he could find somebody that worked for the school that could open the gate and let us through. Well, couldn't find one. Now, I'm in a wheelchair, and at the time I was in a decently heavy wheelchair. No, I shouldn't say that. I was in sports most of my life. So my wheelchair was really light because it was a sports chair. But it was awkward. I mean, how can you get a chair through a fence, right? Well, those of you who have seen my football video will kind of have an idea of where I'm going with this. The height of the fence, if you're in a car, would probably reach the top where the hood meets the grill. That's where the top of the fence was, and there was, it was one of those fences that kind of start like an elongated triangle. If I can find a picture at one point or another, I'll put it up in the video, whatever. Anyway, easiest way to get me through, short of going around the building and going down what I call the Suicide Hill, which was a hill that literally was about, well, quite steep. I'm not going to even try to figure out how steep it was, but it was very steep and it would have been very hard even if somebody was pushing me to get me down this hill. Quite dangerous, too. Anyway, so what did we do? Well, my friends were all football players that I went with at the time, and my legs went underneath the fence rather easily. So, I limboed the fence, or the gate. And that's right, I said limboed. Anybody who knows limboing can understand this. Well, my one friend drove me, or pushed me up to the fence to a point where my legs went underneath. And as soon as I was to the point where I couldn't go under anymore, we had two guys on the other side. Two guys behind me, two guys in front of me, basically. He tipped the chair back, right? But didn't tip it back enough where it actually touched the ground. We tipped it back enough so that he could, the two guys that were in front, mind you, could hold on to the bottom, what was the bottom of the chair, and pull me through. Then they can write me up and I can go into the carnival. Well, that took all of maybe 10 minutes. And during this whole ordeal, a couple of the town cops found us doing what we were doing, which I affectionately call limboing the gate. And ran over, thought I had fallen out of my chair or whatever. Ran over and asked us what we were doing. We said, well, we were coming into the carnival. Whoever was supposed to be manning this gate, there's nobody around, couldn't find anybody to open it. He's like, well, why didn't you get one of us? I said, well, because my friends looked all around this park. Couldn't find anybody, saw a bunch of open cars, or police cars, but didn't see any cops, or security, or, all the teachers were behind the games and stuff like that, so there was really nobody that we could ask to open the fence, or the gate. I keep calling it a fence, don't ask me why, but I keep calling it that. It's not that, it's a car gate, whatever. So, it was rather funny, and he said, alright, well, just let us know when you're getting ready to leave, and, we'll come and find somebody to open the gate. Carnival closes at 12, well, anywhere between 11 and 1, depending on if it was during the week or on the weekend. And during the week, I had gone like twice and was able to find somebody at night to open the gate and go through and whatever. This was on a Saturday night, mind you. Couldn't find somebody to let me in. Now, couldn't find somebody to let me out. So not only did I limbo the fence once, I limboed it twice. Now, needless to say, we get a big kick out of this. My friends, when we get together, the ones that I went to school with, we get together and, we still talk about it, and it was just one of those things that we didn't think twice about. I mean, when it was something we wanted to be involved in and whatnot, we did it. I've done bowling, I've done track and field, like I've said in one of my other videos. Used to go to the movies. Went to the mall like every Friday. The only thing that I would say that I haven't done a lot of is concerts. Been to a couple, been to a fair few, but I couldn't make it to concerts that I would have liked to. I've seen plays in New York, musicals in New York.